Welcome to another episode on our channel. I thought I would do another steampunk character to be a companion for Robert Downey Jr. I thought Brie Larson would be great for this figure. I've used her before as a female Viking. I think you'll remember this figure. Let me move her a little more in front. There we go. So I love the head. I think she'll look great as a steampunk character. You can already start to see her looking pretty darn cool here with a hat on. I do intend to use a very similar jacket. It's almost identical. It's a female pirate jacket. I've already taken the sleeves, the ends of the sleeves off, like I did on his coat and made them into gaiters down here. So these are already both off. I thought, well, I was going to use brown pants, brown boots. And then I thought, well, the brown boots with brown gaiters, that not much of a contrast. So I'm thinking black boots now. I'm going to use this body, going to take the gold off because I can't, it looks gaudy. I've already started to take it off. So there's a strip down the middle. There are strips on the sides. I want to take that all off. The boots are way too long, so I'm going to cut them about here. They have buckles on them above this point here. I'm going to move them down. Cut a piece off here to make a little flap, just like the boot here, only the flap won't be so wide. I want it tighter in. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. And part of going with black with her is because with the accessories that I think I want to use, they're going to pop out a bit better on a black outfit than they will on a brown outfit. So I wanted her to stand out a little bit differently than him. So I'm going to finish taking off the gold designs on the corset first, and then we'll come back. I'll show you how it looks without it, and then I'll work on the boots, show you how it looks with the improved boots, and then start dressing her appropriately. So we'll pause and we will be back shortly. We are back, and that literally took about 5 minutes or so to get that gold design off of the side or the middle of the corset and off both sides. And all I used was an X-Acto knife. And what comes in very handy are these things at times to magnify what you're doing, to shed a little light on the process. Very helpful, very affordable to get something like this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take the boots off. I want to shorten the boots because they're way too long as is. Shorten to about here. Take the buckles off. I want to move them down. Not quite sure where I want to place them yet, but also cut a piece here to create a flap, like I said, a tighter flap than this flap would be. And that will give good contrast, black with brown gaiters on. We are back, and I was able to cut the boot above the seam, fairly straight, but it left a little gray here, which is the original color apparently of the boots. So I'll either paint that black or use permanent marker to fill that in so it doesn't show. I was able to preserve the straps very nicely, so they're intact and can be replaced on the boot. But the material is so flimsy that when the straps were pulled off, you can see some material came with it. So I can't use the lower end for flaps. I may not be able to use the upper end, but I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to cut these. I'm going to cut these. They're going to be too long, so I'll have to trim them and see how they look surrounding the boot. If they do not look good, then I'm just discarding it, filling this in with black, and just living with the boot this way and using gaiters at the bottom. So we will be right back. I'm going to see what happens when I cut this, and if it really has a nice look overall for the end product of the boots. So we'll be right back. We are back, and I took the top pieces off, the longer pieces. So I've got two of these pieces here that were not ripped up. If I were to put them over the boots, they wouldn't look bad. I'd have to trim them. But for steampunk, I think this is a better look, to be honest. And as I'm thinking about it now, I might be able to use this over the wrists, sort of like what I did here, only I had these forearm guards from a different figure. But I could put the buckles on these buckles, on these things, put them on the ends of her arms, and mimic this. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I think what I'll do is either paint it or use a permanent marker to cover up the gray. So I also want to use these as gaiters. So I'll sew, which I don't do a lot of sewing, right? You guys know that. I'll just sew the end around so we have a nice gaiter there. So we will be back. So we are back, and I've got the gaiters on, secured in the back with some thread, minimal thread. I want to experiment with making these kind of arm guards, parts of the boot that were cut off, and using the buckles to kind of give it a nicer look. Sort of like on him, you can no doubt see a piece of fuzz there. You can see the buckle there. It kind of gives it a nice steampunk look. But I want to get the jacket on first. I don't want the sleeves to get bunched up in the arms of the jacket. So I've taped this side. I'm just going to use boxing tape, real strong tape. Bring the sleeve down as much as I can and just tape that as securely as I can. That usually does the trick for me anyway, in terms of preventing the sleeves from bunching up and getting caught on the jacket sleeves. So I'll put her arms up in the air, bend them, and get it up in the air. If not, I'll put them in the back. Two choices here, back or up in the air. And I just need to find the joint. There we go. So I can kind of turn it in a bit more. There we go. So let's get these sleeves on, hopefully. And I think I'll take her off the stand, lay her down. Probably be easier that way. This is really a tight jacket. The female jackets tend to be a little more snugger. So far, so good, though. Yeah, you see the sleeve poking out? It's not bunching up. Hopefully the same is true on the other side. There it is, showing up again. So this is actually literally working. There's the sleeve showing. Now, you could make a case that maybe I don't need a forearm guard. I definitely want to use the buckles though. The tape comes off very easily too, once you get the sleeve through. So there are my 2 pieces of tape. I don't need those anymore. The jacket is on. The gaiters are on. Let's see what we have here. And the neat thing about both these jackets or coats, whatever you want to call them, is that they have wire in them. So you can bend them and shape them as you see fit. And let me put this behind. There you go. That's better. All right. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. I kind of like the sleeve hanging out. I kind of like that look. But you can start to see her taking shape and form. Accessorizing will be the big deal. Calming her hair down a little bit. Sometimes I do that with Vaseline, a little wax, whatever, anything that will work in terms of calming the hair down. Right now it's a little frayed. But let me put her head on. One second. Okay, so she does not have a neck piece that will go over the peg. So I will dig one up and show you how to get that head on better. It would work just like this, to be honest. You can point her in any direction this way, but to keep the head on in a stable sort of way would require another attachment. So let me put the hat on for just a second. Look at the black and the brown and the white. Ooh, she is looking very, I think, cool. A little different, but somewhat similar. And accessorizing should give her a really good look. So we'll pause a bit. Let me find an appropriate neck piece to show you what we need to do with her head if we want to make this as formal as possible. So we'll be right back. So we are back, and I like this look. I really love this look. I love the long white sleeves hanging out. I love the black and the contrast with the brown. I was going to go with brown pants or brown skirt, brown boots, and using this vest and kind of trimming it so it was shorter. And now that I see this, that's completely out of my mind now. The only thing I need to do is to get her head more stable on here, even though if you're careful, her head's not going to fall off or anything like that. But what she really needs is a piece like this. Okay, so that just fits over the ball and then fits into the head and gives it much more stability. So I'm going to get it hot. And we'll get her situated. The boots had pegs in them, so they fit on the legs. very nicely. I didn't have to resort to gravity holding things together there. But I do prefer when I can do it to get things much more stable. So let's get this out. Okay, and hopefully it'll fit on very nicely. It's not the same color, but it's going to be hidden by the head. Went on very good. So now we just need to get the head on. There it goes. Let me turn around and get her on there better. Hair's situated. All right. Get her stance a bit better. And let's get that hat on. Wow. I like it. All right. So in the next episode, what we want to do is accessorize her. And I have some ideas. Of course, I'll probably change my mind again as I try some things and look at it and think about maybe a different way of doing it. But I hope slowing it down does help a bit in terms of seeing the journey. I'm really happy with the clothing, the attire right now. I certainly hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, and think this is a good match for this guy, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day, and don't forget to tune in again for the next episode regarding the accessorizing process.